Hey friends, welcome back to Feel at Home today. This is a special episode where I'm going to be showing you guys some things that are very special to me. This is going to be a home art studio tour. It's actually in my bedroom. Wow. Yeah, a little nerve-wracking to share my bedroom. I typically try to just show you guys the pretty stuff, but I'm going to show you the not so pretty stuff today because it's real life, right? Anyway, for those of you that are artists, for those of you that love to be creative at home, I want to share with you some ideas of the things I've done this year to make my space a little bit more functional, a little bit easier and more like accessible to be able to do art more often. So stick around today and let's have some fun. Okay, so this is my bedroom. This is actually the first time in my whole life that I've had a rather large bedroom. Just a few years ago, we were living in an apartment. So this is a really big deal to me to have enough space to be able to really make a work area. But if you have a large enough bedroom, um, go ahead and check out the setup that I have. But like I said, a couple years ago, I actually was in a tiny 1,000 square foot apartment with my 3 kids. And like I literally had a bit of a corner. I'm going to show you some pictures at the bottom to show you what my little setup studio used to be. So here in my bedroom, I just have my printer setup area here, and I do use my printer quite often. I have the Epson Eco Tank, which has been a lifesaver. As you know, it's expensive to buy all that ink, so I use my printer a lot when I'm trying to, let's say, transfer things or get inspirational ideas. I'll print pictures and things like that. Got my bed. We have my lighting set up over here. This is um, a purchase I made last year to help with my YouTube channel and to help with my art, just actually to have enough light to be able to work. And boy, this thing has been great because sometimes I can't work until the evening and I really need a good source of light. It puts out a ton of lumens. It's nice and bright and it's adjustable here. It's made by GVM, and I will be linking everything that I have here in my studio down in the description just so you can see that. But I use this really, really often and I'll move it around and things like that to make sure that I don't have harsh shadows where I'm filming and working. Okay, so the next thing that I like to use here is my tripod. Got a few aprons here. I typically keep those around somewhere over here. I've got my tripod and I actually have this boom angle for the tripod. And this has been super helpful so I can film videos of me painting. And then you can also take this whole thing off and then you can just use it like a regular tripod if you want to do that. And this is, man, it was actually really affordable. I think it was like $20 or $25 for a really sturdy tripod. So definitely recommend that. And I think every artist should have a tripod because you need to be able to show people what you're doing, get people involved in your art, and show part of the process. So if you're an artist and you don't have one, I'm sure you do, but think about getting maybe a boom or something like that. Okay. Another thing that I really love is my easel over here. And so if you can make your way over here, my daughter's filming me here. So this easel I love. It's by Carolina. It is adjustable, so I can go down here and I can adjust the height and move it up and down. And it's nice and big. I love how it's fairly compact. I have had different types of easels before, but this one seems to be more compact. So I'm keeping this over in the corner. And last year I was working in acrylics a lot, on canvases a lot. Here's so like a painting I did last year, and it's a really good height to keep here on this area, and I can move it up so I can stand up and work as well. So I really think if you love using acrylics, consider getting a good easel. Okay, so like I said, this is my little station for doing my acrylics and my canvases, and then I store them all over here. This year, I plan on making kind of a rack to separate my paintings. That's just something I have as a goal. And I think you can make them really simple with just wooden dowels and then separate them. So planning to make that this year. Um, got my trusty guitar. I'm a musician as well, so I think this is just a really inspirational space for me, and I love creating music as well with what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my biggest thing that I got just a few months ago. My sweet husband, man, he has really helped me to make my dreams come true for making an in-home art studio, and he built me this wonderful workbench this past year. And so I picked out the exact height that I wanted. I believe it's like 38 inches, which is like a bar height. I wanted a big enough thing that, man, it could take up a lot of the space here. I could do big drawings. I could do big watercolors. I could have enough space for multiple things at the same time. Because prior to this, I'll show you a photo here. This space just looked really small. I just had a tiny little desk, and it was so cramped trying to keep all my supplies on here. So this setup really helped. So if you want to take a look at this, he really just constructed it out of free wood that we had lying around, nothing expensive, just like 2x4s and stuff like that. And in the bottom here, I'm able to keep a ton of baskets of things. So I'm planning on making that look a little bit more organized this year. But for right now, there's this bottom shelf where I can put my feet up on there. I can store papers and art books. I can store shipping supplies. I can store a bunch of my acrylic paints and things like that down there. And then it's a comfortable height to either stand up and work on my art, or I could sit down and prop my feet up. So I really love that. It's just literally a plain piece of plywood here on the top, but it's a smooth plywood. Definitely want to get something smooth, but it's untreated. I didn't treat it at all. We just painted the bottom this really cute sagey green color. It's one of my favorite colors. So man, I always dreamed when I was little about making a studio that would look out across the country. And we live really far out in the country. And sometimes I just let my kids out and play, and then I'm able to work on my art, but I can keep an eye on them through the window here. And it also helps me get really good light in my studio. So that's something I love. I really want it to be near a light source. We actually have a room in the back of our house that is huge, and we use it for music and studio, but I actually didn't want that one so much because of the fact that it wasn't getting enough light. So I want the light here from the window. Okay, so I want to show you guys a few of my materials that I use as an artist. And I am a teacher. I love to teach. I love to do online classes. And I actually have a brand new membership course. So if you have not heard about Dwell Creative Studios, I'd love you to check it out. My link is in the description. It's a Patreon account, but we do tons of stuff in there. So check that out. More about that later. Okay, so like I said, I love the light coming through. I try to work when I have a lot of light in my studio and have my trusty computer. Definitely love my MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, actually, I should say. This has been a wonderful computer just to pull things up quickly. Got to have some plants in the studio. And just this year, I really spent money on buying brushes and some more different types of supplies. So I'm starting to really focus more on watercolor this year. As you know, as an artist, it's like, well, at least for me, it's fun to try different things. So I'm trying a variety of different things that I've tried before, but I'm just kind of getting more back into them. So I needed to refresh my paintbrushes, and I picked up a bunch of paintbrushes here. It was a pack of about, I would say, 10 paintbrushes by Artistro, and I've really been loving those. Those are really good quality for the price, and got a bunch of round, they're all synthetic, round brushes, dagger brushes, script brushes, little brushes. So those have been really helpful lately. Then I also got a bunch of these hockey brushes, flat, good for doing the washes and stuff like that. I've been loving these. So check those out if you've never bought hockey brushes. They have been a blessing. I love this little paintbrush holder. Prior to this, I had all my stuff thrown into either like a cup or something like this. And this does work for my acrylic brushes that are a bit taller, but it's not so great if I want to keep my edges nice and my points nice on my watercolor brushes. So I do really, this is something I love and I recommend getting a brush holder, and it rotates and it fits a ton of different brushes in there. Okay, so I just keep generally some of my different papers that I'm using: sketchbooks, drawing books, watercolor paper here. Paper towels, you always need those. Just last year, I'm sorry, just a couple of weeks ago, I invested in a bunch of these really cool washi tapes that have been really helpful for my business, whether I'm packaging something or taping off watercolor paint. Love those. And I love this little gold holder that I just purchased on Amazon to be able to organize some of my script markers and some of my micron type markers and gel pens and all that kind of stuff. Always got to have my water spray bottle. So this one I literally just picked up at the Dollar Tree. I love that you can get that kind of stuff there. And then I have a few more of my drawing things here and my stuff like that. And then my husband built me this little shelf for my wall. This is what I was using prior to having a workbench. My setup before this was literally just this nasty, dirty little desk here, and I had barely any space to work, and then I had this desk. So things are much bigger now, and I have 2 spaces to work at. But this shelf has been super helpful if you've never installed shelving. I'm actually thinking of getting more shelves put onto this wall for more stuff. But on this shelf, I actually keep a lot of my finished artwork. I keep things that I've already prepackaged that I'm selling, some prints, things like that. I keep my acrylic brushes and rulers here and some of my bigger brushes. And so I love this space up here high away because I do have kids, and man, my little guy comes in here all the time and tries to grab stuff. So I like this whole setup for me, and for any mom would suggest it because it really helps you keep things up and out of the way of your kids. So, and that way, if I leave something out that I'm working on, it's not going to be a disaster. Okay, so like I said, a couple of years ago, my studio was actually in our tiny little 1,000 square foot apartment, and we had a very tiny little bedroom. But I really decided for myself that making a studio space in my bedroom was a very important part of my life, and I needed a designated little corner just to do my art in. What I was using primarily was just this little turquoise cart, and most of you artists probably have a cart just like this, and it's gone through the ringer, of course, but I love it just as an extra space where I can just put some of my, drawing materials, pastels. I have bought these specialty items this year that I don't use a lot, and I just keep them over on the side here. But I want to encourage you, because if you don't have the space right now and you just have a little corner of your bedroom, you can make it happen by just having a little easel or a little tiny desk table and maybe a small shelf and maybe just a tiny little $25 rolling cart from the craft store. And those are just great little things that you can do, and then you start to grow when you have the means to be able to do that. So one last thing I want to mention is for this space that part of the reason why I chose having a wooden, just a bare wood, untreated surface here is to be able to do also some ceramic projects. I have dabbled in ceramics here and there over the years, and I've been doing more and more this year just with air dry clay. If you have seen any of my tutorials that I have recently from air dry clay, but the wooden surface is such a fun and it's a really great way of being able to be able to use ceramics. So I'm doing hand building stuff, and if I need a wedge or if I need to do anything, this surface is perfect for clay. So think about that if that's something that you want to get into in the future. I am not an illustrator. I am primarily just a fine artist that does watercolor, acrylic, drawing mediums. I have my charcoals and I have like my vine charcoal here. I've got some different drawing mediums that are scattered throughout, but I love being able to have a big clear surface that I can draw on, and I don't have to worry about if it gets messy because it's just wood. It was never treated, and I can easily replace it years down the road if I need to. So I hope that this quick little video tour inspired you guys today, gave you some ideas of maybe how you could organize your studio space. I have a lot more to go. I have more ideas on organizing, but this is where I'm at currently in my life. And hey, let me know down in the comments how, if you have a bedroom studio, and what you've done with your studio. What do you have in your studio? What are some of the things that you can't live without? Maybe some shelving, maybe some rolling carts, something like that. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know a little bit more about you guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Hey friends, I'm really excited to tell you about a new exclusive artist membership community that I'm going to be launching in January 2025. It's called Dwell Creative Studios. Whether you're an experienced artist or a beginner artist, there's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. This is going to be a really fun community where we're going to be having a lot of video tutorials, live workshops, Zoom calls, art challenges, Q&As, and much, much more. There's going to be art for something for everybody to do every single week. And it's going to help you grow at yourself as an artist, have some accountability, have encouragement from other artists, and build a community together. This is going to be a faith-based place where we're going to have scripture-inspired artwork every month. We're going to be diving into scripture together. We're going to be art journaling and much, much more. So if you're interested in learning more about this new community, make sure to follow me over the next month. I'm going to be releasing more information about Dwell and everything that it has to offer. But if you liked the video today, that's going to be just a little bit of a taste of more to come for our artist community.